two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer. And baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you guys on this wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. We are off a bit early today because the Royals are in the Eastern time zone taking on the Detroit Tigers. So let's get right to it. Before we get to it, though, I got to remind you of a couple of things. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. I need you to tell one friend to listen to the show. And number three, and most importantly, I need you to remember that the open of the show each day is brought to you by our good friends over at The Other Place. Today is a Tenderloin Tuesday. Stop in, grab yourself something to eat. Maybe you'll catch the baseball game while you're there. We got the NBA play-ins that get going today as well. A great place to do all of that is with our friends over at The Other Place. Now, Rob, we don't have a lot of time today, so I'm not here for the shenanigans. When was the last time that you and I opened the show complaining about the Royals lineup? That's not really where this show thrives. I'm not here to argue with you guys about who's hitting third and who should be hitting where. That's not really my lane. We're going to have Vern on the show at 3 o'clock. I'm happy to ask him. Maybe that's what they do on the midday show. Maybe that's what they do on the other station. I don't know. But this show very rarely complains about the lineup. But when the Royals give you the lineup that they got today, I mean, how can you expect me to look at this and not complain? So I saw the lineup come across my social media feed. I'm thinking, all right, let me take a look at it. Miguel Garcia playing third base, hitting leadoff for the Royals. Okay, makes sense. Bobby Witt Jr. playing shortstop, hitting second. Okay, all right. Thomas started to think. They mean Lane Thomas is hitting third for the Kansas City Royals today? So you know what, Rob? I went on Pro Baseball Reference, and I just started clicking around a little bit because I wanted to get the data. Rob, did you know that over the last 2.5 seasons, so over the last 700 plate appearances and 620 at-bats, Lane Thomas is hitting .218 with a .295 on base percentage, and he is slugging .366. Maybe a better way of saying it is Lane Thomas is always April Vinny Pasquantino. That guy's hitting third today for the Royals. Now, again, I'm not here to complain about one individual lineup that the Royals put out there, but Rob, these are the people that are supposed to turn this thing around offensively? I understand that Vinny's not hitting right now. I understand that Salvador Perez isn't hitting right now. I get all of that. But, Rob, these are the people that I'm supposed to trust have the solutions to being able to fix this offense, where they had a day in which an important game in their division, a team in their division, the team that we believe to be the favorite in the division, we are picking a player in Lane Thomas who has a negative WAR over this time frame that I just gave you. It's a negative .7. A guy who is hitting .218 with a below 300 on base percentage. So far this season, he's hitting .130 with the .286 on base percentage, and he doesn't have a home run, and he has 1 RBI. These are the guys that are hitting in premium spots for the Royals. How do they expect to score tonight? Where is the offense coming from? Please talk me off this ledge. Maybe this is an overreaction on my part, and I can live with that if that's the case. But, Rob, you are telling me to not get so worked up about the Royals. You are telling me to give it time. You are telling me that it's early on in the season and don't jump to any conclusions. You know what I've seen? A lot of starts like the Royals have had, and I've seen them put together a lot of lineups in my lifetime that make me scratch my head and wonder to myself, what exactly are the Royals thinking? What exactly are the Royals doing? Can anybody explain to me how Lane Thomas is hitting third today for the Royals? I would love to hear the explanation. 713-586-7965. Rob, would you like to give it a go?
I got nothing for you. I don't hate the idea of getting Vinny and Perez down the lineup because they have been bad this year.
They can't put Carter Jensen right there?
Took the words out of my mouth. Jonathan India would be an improvement in the 3 spot. Or how about Jonathan India leading off and Garcia at 3 and Witt at 3? Like, I like the idea of a tinker. We don't need Salvador Perez and Vinny Pasquantino, who aren't hitting right now in the 3 and 4 spot.
Lane Thomas ain't hitting right now.
That's the problem. It's a good process, bad result. They understood that 3-4 has to be fixed, so they changed the problem.
I'm beside myself. Honestly, I'm serious. This doesn't make any sense to me. You cannot justify it. It makes no sense. These are the people that have been tasked with, hey, how do we get this thing back on track? How do we wake up bats? And they woke up today and decided we're going to shake things up with Lane Thomas hitting third for the Royals today. They're not scoring then. That's what they've announced to you today. They've announced to you when you turn in to the game later today that runs are going to be at a minimum today. That's what they announced with this lineup. I don't want to spend the entire open complaining about the lineup. I just wanted to share it with you. Yes, I'm aware of the rule. We will get to a random lineup where I'm guessing they had somebody hitting better than Lane Thomas at third. I don't even know what lineup Rob is for today. Sometimes I guide him. Hey, can you do this lineup today? I left Rob to his own devices, but I assure you their lineup will have a better third hitter than Lane Thomas in really any era of Royals baseball. We'll get to that. Rob, this is actually a really important series for the Royals. This is really an important week for the Royals. Now I know it's early and you don't want to overreact, and we're going to do that thing where we say, well, this is just 7% of the Chiefs season. I don't want to play that game with the Royals. You could argue that they are sending their 3 best pitchers up to the mound for this series. Cole Ragans, who started opening day for them, pitches today. Seth Lugo pitches tomorrow for the Royals. And on Thursday, they have Chris Bubich, who has been fantastic so far this season. You also are not going against probably the best pitcher in the American League. Tariq Skubal is not going in this. You're playing a team that people perceive to be the favorite in the division. This is a really important series for the Royals that you'd love to be able to go on the road and steal 2 of 3 and be able to head into New York with a little bit of momentum heading into the weekend. Now, let's take care of business. You got to deal with Detroit first. But last year, the Royals got pummeled by the New York Yankees. The Yankees won every game last season against the Royals. The Royals were 0-6 against the New York Yankees. So you get them early on during a stretch in which the offense is not really humming right now, but you're going to a very, very favorable hitter's park. So let's see what the Royals can do this weekend at Yankee Stadium. But again, first things first, you got Ragans, Lugo, and Bubich going on the mound for all 3 of these games. That should give you an opportunity. Let's see what Ragans looks like after his last start where he dealt with a little bit of injury, got pulled early in that one. He's had a little bit of an up and down start to the season. Let's see what version of Ragans you get. Lugo and Bubich have been fantastic, but the way that their pitching is gone, you will have a chance to win all 3 of these games. The question just continues to remain, are you going to be able to score enough and generate enough offense to be able to keep up with a team like Detroit? This is now going up against the heavyweights. One of the complaints that I've had about the Royals, and I think a lot of people have had, we've made the comparison to the Miami Dolphins. The Royals have shown themselves to be very good against the bottom half of Major League Baseball. They have not shown themselves to be very good against the upper half of Major League Baseball. You were playing 2 of those teams in their home parks this week. The Tigers, who can make a run in the American League, and the Yankees, who are the favorite to represent the American League in the World Series. So let's see how the Royals stack up. Let's see how they measure up in these couple early season tests on the road in Detroit and New York. Coming up in a little bit, JJ Piccolo was on the station earlier today. We'll play for you what he had to say, but you know the rules. If we start the show with the Royals, it can only mean one thing. Hit me, Rob!
We're where you want to be. Baseball with the Royals. If you want to be.
Carrying today's random Royals lineup takes us back to the year 2012. This date in Royals history, the Royals lost 11-9 in extra innings to the then Cleveland Indians. Here was your Royals lineup. Leading off in center field, Gerard Dyson.
I'd rather have him hit third than have Lane Thomas hit third.
Batting second.
I mean, today's version of Gerard Dyson, not even that version of Gerard Dyson. I'll take today's version of Gerard Dyson, wherever he may be. Hopefully, he's having an amazing start to his day.
Batting second in right field, Jeff Francoeur.
This is going to fall off a cliff. I can feel it.
Oh, boy, yes. Batting third, the first baseman, Eric Hosmer.
Okay, I can live with that. You see how good we used to have it? Eric Hosmer used to hit third for the Royals. Now Lane Thomas hits third for the Royals.
Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Billy Butler.
Okay, all right.
Batting fifth in left field, Alex Gordon.
Okay, this hasn't fallen off a cliff yet.
Batting sixth at second base, Unieski Betancourt.
Here's where we drive off the cliff, it sounds like.
Batting seventh, the third baseman, Mike Moustakas.
Okay. This must not have been good Moose if he was hitting seventh.
Batting eighth, the catcher, Humberto Quintero.
Where was Salvi at today? Was he?
This was the year he got hurt in spring training.
Oh, yeah.
And batting ninth, the shortstop, Alcides Escobar.
You can always tell where we're at in Royals history with where Alcides Escobar is hitting. If he's hitting first, things are going well. If he is not hitting first, things are not going well for the Royals.
By the way, the Royals starting pitcher that day, a fan favorite, got beat around, Jonathan Sanchez.
He was my least favorite player. I hated him.
He went 2 2/3, giving up 5 earned runs and had 4 walks, which is what eventually doomed the Royals on this date in 2012.
Someone just sent this in. The splits for the 3, 4, and 5 hitter today are 130, 153, 153. Is that even possible? I'm not saying that you're not telling the truth, because I'm sure you are. Is that even possible? For your 3, 4, and 5 hitter to have those splits, 130, 153, 153. This is who's going to turn around today for the Royals offensively. This is who's going to get things going, who's going to set the tone for this 6-game road trip. Okay. Good luck to the Royals. Very happy to catch up with Josh Vernier. He's going to be on the show in about 45 minutes today. Coming up on the other side, JJ Piccolo was on the station earlier today. We'll play for you what the general manager of the Royals has to say. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America NA member FDIC, terms apply, all rights reserved.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circus Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circus Sports has it all. Circus Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circus Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circus Sports app or visit circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
JR and Company, the only roofing company offering a free lifetime warranty on workmanship and a free shingle upgrade that can save thousands in future insurance premiums. Locally owned, veteran-owned, and family-owned. Call JR today or visit jrstormcheck.com.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? Call J Southland Tow Service, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all. Be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm Anna Garcia, host of True Crime News, the podcast. Every week, we bring you in-depth coverage on cases making headlines, as well as those that go under the radar. Tune in for murders that defy explanation, mysteries seeking exploration, and shocking secrets that will leave you breathless. Each week, we honor the victims by going beyond the salacious in our search for justice. Crime never stops, and neither do we. Listen to True Crime News, available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Carter Jensen from the Kansas City Royals. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
You guys might find this hard to believe, but I looked up the splits for Lane Thomas in his career. He has the most at-bats and plate appearances, hitting second in his career. He has the second most hitting leadoff in his career. Rob, Lane Thomas hitting third or fourth are actually the fewest plate appearances that he has had from a batting order spot. So it goes 2, 1, 5, 7. Those are the lineup slots that he has the most at bats in. He has 53 plate appearances hitting third in his career. He has 19 hitting fourth in his career. So not a whole lot of times that Lane Thomas in his career has hit third or fourth for a team, but he is tonight for your Kansas City Royals as they are going on the road to face the Detroit Tigers. So I just wanted to share that information with you, Rob.
I mean, he batted third on opening day, and look how well the offense did that day.
Well, for sure. They did great. So I want to play for you guys what J.J. Piccolo had to say. He was on the midday show earlier today. He was asked if the organization has considered lineup changes. I don't think this is what Cody and Gold meant.
In a weird kind of way, it's a good thing that it's those two, because they're the ones that historically have done it. So you really don't get overly concerned with those two guys. They're just going through it at the same time. But, I know that that's a thought. We talk about lineups every day, but the truth of the matter is you want a deep lineup. So you can move guys in and out, and there are certain things in lineup construction that matter. When you have guys that are, I like to call them burners, you like to kind of group those guys together. Then you get into the guys that aren't the burners. You kind of want to group them together. Otherwise, it slows other people down when they're on base. And, of course, you got the handedness. It's so easy to strategize against a lineup that has a lot of left-handed hitters. So you try to split up the left-handed hitters. So it's really a lot of different things that go into lineup construction, and it's an easy thing to just say, hey, put somebody in this spot and somebody in that spot. But it creates other holes, and that's something that we constantly are discussing with the pros and cons of how you construct a lineup. And again, there's no one right answer, so there comes a point in the year where maybe you try something different. Quite honestly, we don't feel like we're there right now. That's panic. That's not logic. That's panic.
Well, I agree with him in that there is not one right answer. I would contend that there are certainly wrong answers too, and I think Lane Thomas hitting third is a wrong answer for the Royals. But let's move on from that. Rob, do you think that the Royals are possibly overthinking the platoon and overthinking left and right? And right now their focus should be, as they are trying to get this offense on track, we got to run with our best 9 guys. Regardless of who's on the hill, we got to put the lineup that we think gives us the best chance out there to go win, and let those guys go out there, work through this, get themselves out of this funk, and we can turn things around. Because to me, now putting Lane Thomas at this third spot, to me, you have now over-tinkered with it. Like, I would love to hear the logic of, why would we not give Carter Jensen more bats right now when he's been one of our best offensive players? He's certainly hit for power. He has gotten off to a pretty good start. Why is he hitting 8th for the Royals, but we're letting these other guys hit 3rd, 4th, and 5th for the Royals? Like, if we're going to tinker, then why are we not, positioning guys in a better spot? And again, why not just go out there and say, regardless of who was on the mound today, we're going to put our top 9 offensive players out there today, and we're going to let these guys get 5 to 7 days of plate appearances and go out there and see if we can stem the tide a little bit. That doesn't seem to be the play right now for the Royals.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know they can do that for this reason. For better or worse, I think this roster was built with the idea of analytics and platooning. So 16, 17 games into the season, to just say, never mind, we're going to roll out our best 9, I don't think is how the lineup is built, how the roster is built. Now, we can have conversations and arguments about if that's the best way to build a roster in 2026, and those are fine conversations to have. But if J.J. Piccolo and John Sherman and the power structure that is the Royals came to the conclusion in November, December, January, here's how we think our lineup should work, here's how we're going to build our roster, we're going to be very platoon heavy and play the stats.
They don't have enough good players to be platoon heavy offensively. That might work for some teams where, we talk about depth, when your lineup can be 13 or 14 deep. The Royals don't have 5 good offensive players right now. Now we're trying to overthink it. Now we're trying to be overly strategic on who's going to play this day and who's not going to play this day. Like, let Jack Caglione hit. That can't be a worse philosophy than letting Lane Thomas hit every day. Let Jack Caglione hit every day. Let him get his ABs. Let him go through the ups and downs of being a young player.
I would fall into that category, but I think when you build a roster to do this, you kind of have to let this ride. If it's like, the best analogy I can make for a football comparison is, if you draft a team thinking you're going to run a 3-4 defense, and then in week 5 or week 2 you go, you know what, we're a 4-3 team. That's not how the roster is built. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. So I I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it's 16 games in, they're going to throw away the November plan and just say, screw it, it's not working. I also think
their plan was Lane Thomas hitting third?
Third, I don't know about, but I think they definitely had plans on him platooning. I think this was always part of the plan with Jack
that's
Caglianone.
okay if he's going to platoon in eighth. I don't have any issues. We wouldn't be having this conversation if Lane Thomas was hitting eighth today. It would just be, it is what it is. They are tinkering with the lineup. That's a radical change. That's a radical change. If we go through their entire organization, there's 15 guys you'd rather have hit third today than Lane Thomas for an offense that's struggling, for an offense that they've scored more runs than one other team in the American League. This is not the fix that you could potentially have with the lineup. So they are tinkering. I would say this is a major adjustment to what I think they should be doing right now. Well, it's not just Lane Thomas. I don't want to single him out like he's the only problem right now with the offense. They got other problems. He is just a part of the problem. Here is J.J. Piccolo. He was asked about Salvador Perez's slow start.
But again, we think of Salvi, he's a really important piece to our offense, and getting him the right amount of DH days or time off is important to his offense, because I think over the last couple of years that's proven to be the case as we've cut his games back catching, but we definitely need him in the lineup. There's no doubt. And with Salvi, we've seen this for 15 years. He goes through these stretches where he's struggling, and then next thing you know, he gets going. That's just Salvi, and he's the first one to admit it, which is the beauty of Salvi. He never panics. He knows who he is and how he is, and he knows he's going to chase. And at times he's not, and when he's not, he's going to put up numbers. That's how he's been really the last 10 years of his career as he's come into his own as an offensive player.
Of all the people I'm willing to give a lot more time to, Salvi's near the top of the list. We've done this before with Salvi.
Vinny's probably on the list too.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not number one, but he's up there.
I would just say Vinny historically. Like, you can't be surprised that Vinny getting off to a slow start. I mean, April has been his worst month as a professional player. So I'm not worried yet about Salvador Perez. I might be a little premature when talking about the team as a whole, as a 25-man roster. But if we're talking about just one individual, do I trust Salvi to figure it out and turn things around offensively? The answer is yes. And I'm not going to overreact to the first 2 weeks of the season individually with Salvi. I might question some of the other choices, but Salvi has definitely earned the right to get himself out of this funk, and for us to have this conversation in a month when it comes to Salvador Perez and not in the first 14, 15 games of the season.
Let me ask you this, though. If you're going to be team patience with Salvador Perez, and I don't think that's a wrong approach, why are you not team patience with the offense? Because one of the major flaws in the offense is whether he's batting 4 or 5. I know he's the 4-hitter today, or 5-hitter today, but he's been the 4-hitter, whatever. One of the problems with their offense is the middle of it. Their Hall of Fame guy stinks right now. So I don't know how you can tell me I'm going to be patient with Salvador Perez, but not patient with the offense. The two seem very connected to me. It's like, if Salvador Perez gets going, I think the offense will look better. So if you're going to be patient with one, don't you have to be patient with both?
Yeah, but I wonder, I guess, with Salvador Perez, because I think that's a fair question. I mean, what does better look like for? I mean, can he just go back to what he was last year? I mean, last year, I think he was a pretty good player. They still struggled offensively. Like, I think Salvi can turn it around, and they still have the same problems that they had last year in terms of inconsistency. I mean, last year, Salvador Perez played in 155 games, had 30 home runs and 100 RBIs, and they still missed the playoffs and had these same questions with the offense. So I don't maybe see them as tied together that you do.
And you know what? That's the perfect way to describe how we've played. Because I feel like if Salvador Perez gets back to what he was last year and Vinny Pasquantino gets back to what he was last year, I'm not asking him to be better at this point. Just be back to that. I feel like the offense would look better because Carter Jensen is better at DH than God, I don't even know who the DH was last year, but it was they were terrible, whoever they were. I trust that Jack Caglianone, despite his lack of power right now, is a better right fielding hitter than Hunter Renfroe. So I have connected those two things in my mind. Until Vinny and Salvi get going, the offense is going to be in a rut. We agree on the fix to that rut is not Lane Thomas at 3, but their rut is built on the fact that two of the guys they built their offense around are just terrible right now.
Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, this isn't the first time that Lane Thomas has hit third in the lineup. I'm not saying I agree with the decision by any stretch, but in the first week he hit a couple of times. This isn't necessarily radical. I guess I would counter this twofold. I would say, number one, Lane Thomas is 30 years old and he'll be 31. He has played for multiple organizations and multiple teams. No one has seen him as this, I guess, other than the Royals. So the fact that they have done this numerous times in the first 2 weeks of the season is a very disheartening thing. And maybe this is more of a bigger picture conversation and not just a Lane Thomas argument. The fact that the Royals had an entire offseason to go make moves, and what would appear right now is one of their biggest offensive moves was adding Lane Thomas, is case number one of why this is still the same problem we are having. We all knew what the issue was this offseason with the Royals, and the Royals in a lot of ways said, trust us, we are going to make some smaller moves, and we are trusting our core and our nucleus to figure this thing out and carry us through. Well, the nucleus appears to be the exact same as it was. They're going to have some highs this season. They're going to have some lows this season. But I would say so far, all the Royals have shown you over the last year and a half is that their offense is going to be inconsistent. There's going to be some highs and there's going to be some lows. And right now, they are going through just one of those low periods. You would have liked for one of the additions that they made this offseason to be part of the solution to things, when I would argue that Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins, in some ways offensively, have been part of the problem that the Royals are facing offensively. That's at least my issue with Lane Thomas.
I agree. I don't want to single out Lane Thomas. Like, Lane Thomas is the singular problem with the Royals offense. But it is, to your point, a philosophy demonstration that Lane Thomas, who is a fine platoon player, if he was batting 8 tonight and the Royals offense was humming, I don't think you and I would even be talking about it. It would
not at all.
But he is not a cure-all, and putting him at 3 makes it seem like you think he's a cure-all. And when yesterday I was on the show complaining about the lineup, maybe some tweaking is needed, and their tweak is to put a guy who is also not hitting this year in one of the more valuable lineup spots, does show maybe philosophically they are trusting their own right now. I know he's a free agent, or was a free agent, a lot more than I think the fan base is. I also think this lineup shows there's a delineation between the fan base and the organization. The organization is telling you, trust us. We're just in a little bit of a funk. It's not a big deal. The fan base is treating it a lot more like a 5-alarm fire, which there are times for a cross parking lot comparison, the Chiefs have done the same thing, and it's all worked out. I get why they get the benefit of the doubt. But the Royals are saying this is a funk, don't worry about it, and fans, I think, are not viewing it the same way.
Well, why don't we go from the Royals to the Chiefs? Lewis Riddick was also on the midday show. They had a strong day today. You got Lewis Riddick and J.J. Piccolo. You really did your thing from 10 to 2. Here's Lewis Riddick talking about how this is the most important draft of Brett Veach's career.
I know how important this draft is to him. He's done a nice job of identifying talent in the past in conjunction with his coaching staff. He knows that this roster needs an infusion of young ass kickers, to be quite blunt, that can really kind of like usher in like a second act as far as the Patrick Mahomes era is concerned. And he's got a lot of ammo to do it. And I think there's probably been a lot of long sleepless nights for him and his scouting staff, Mike Bradway and the group down there, trying to like figure this thing out and figure out where they're going to go with 9, where they're going to go at 29, like what's it going to look like. And I think we all know the positions that they need. You know, you like some of the things that they did in free agency. Obviously, Kenneth is a big signing for them. Justin is a big signing for them. I think any quarterback would be just thrilled to be in the same room as Patrick and be coached by Andy and kind of really be mentored by EB. And, it's cool that he's back in the fold. And, on the defensive side, they've kind of got to retool this thing. They got to get some more bodies in there in the secondary, some guys who can really make plays and get Chris some help up front. So, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. They got a lot of picks. This is Brett's by far most important draft since he's been there.
I do agree with this sentiment when it comes to Brett Veach, other than Kenneth Walker, and that's a big signing. I really like the Kenneth Walker move. I would say that they've hit a lot of singles so far in free agency. I don't know if they've hit a double. Like, I think we're maybe parsing on the analogy on if you think so, but I love the Kenneth Walker move. That's a home run to me. I think they needed an explosive playmaker. They went out and got him at a reasonable price. If he stays healthy, I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a phenomenal year in Kansas City. I'm not worried about that. But I think every other move they made was good starters or depth and not necessarily maybe swinging for the fences. they have an opportunity, I would say, with their first 4 selections, the 2 in the first round, the 40th pick, the 74th overall pick. The Chiefs have an opportunity to really add some impact kind of guys. And if you go 4 years ago, when you look at how instrumental that draft class was, how many starters you got from that draft class, and how the Chiefs were able to turn over their roster on the fly and use that to compete for championships. I mean, that's the kind of expectation that you are held to. Like, right now, Brett Veach is being held against the own standard that he has created. The last time that the Chiefs were at this crossroad, you look at how they answered it. They got Trent McDuffie. They got George Karlaftis. They got Isaiah Pacheco. They got Jalen Watson. They got a lot of those players when their back was up against the wall, so to speak, and they needed to over the roster. So I think it's not that hard to see the similarities people are pointing between that draft class and the importance heading into this draft class. And this team just needs a heavy infusion of young talent. They don't have a lot of great, proven under 25 emerging superstar type players. It would be fantastic if you could get a couple of those out of this year's draft class, and you certainly have all of the resources to go grab one of those guys.
We don't need to go round and round on if Kenneth Walker was a home run or not. I don't think he is, but whatever. But even if you think he is, to your point, the Chiefs offseason has been a lot of singles and supplementary pieces. They have not added a pillar. And again, I'm taking Kenneth Walker out of the equation because you just disagree on running back.
That's fair, but at least with everybody else, for sure.
Rotation defensive tackle. I think Aloy Gilman will play mostly at safety, but he's a safety, so grain of salt. They added a guy who had coming off a torn ACL at cornerback, so let's see if he comes back healthy. And it's not like they've added a dynamic weapon outside of. They brought Tyquan Thornton back. They haven't done bad things, but they haven't done things where you're like, oh, watch out. I think the draft is that moment, whether it's edge, whether it's wideout, whether it's corner, whatever the position group they target at 9, and then the other ones at subsequently 29, they are now aiming at the draft to find those home run, pillar, foundational type of pieces, which 3-4 years ago in 2022 draft, Brett Veach had the same game plan. We're using the draft to find our foundational pieces. He hit a grand slam with McDuffie, Karlaftis, Brian Cook, Leo Pacheco. The list goes on. He needs to do, maybe not to that level, but do that again, because right now it's been, nice, good ads in some weak spots, but not some wow type of ads.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about it. I mean, that stretch from 2021 to 2022, I mean, that's what helped keep this organization alive. Obviously, they hit on quarterback, and they have a future first ballot Hall of Fame tight end and a future defensive Hall of Famer in Chris Jones, too. But if over a 2-year stretch, Nick Bolton, starter, Creed Humphrey, starter, Trey Smith, starter, Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Brian Cook, Leo Chenal, Joshua Williams, who ended up being a good player, Jalen Watson, Isaiah Pacheco. Like, if you're going to draft 7 or 8 starters and you're going to have those guys on rookie contracts the way that they did, it gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to go out there and do some of the other things. The Chiefs got 9 draft picks this year. The Chiefs are major, serious players in this year's NFL draft. And the fact that you have 2 first-round picks the way that they do just gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to move up and down and maneuver the board. I mean, you've got 4 picks in the top 75. So I think it's going to be that balance, as we've been talking about, of, man, if you're picked in the top 75, I expect you to contribute to the Kansas City Chiefs next year. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to contribute on day one, and we're going to see some guys kind of like how Xavier Worthy was, kind of like how Rashee Rice was. Hey, maybe you can't expect a lot from these guys in September or October, but once we get to November, December, you can start to kind of find your niche, find your role, and be able to help. But when you got 2 first-round picks, you got a high second-round pick with the 40th overall pick. But I'm looking at those 3 spots. You need to draft at least 2 starters out of there. Now, again, you can maybe trade up and move out of one of those spots so you have fewer picks. But if you're going to pick at 9, 29, and 40, those need to be 3 guys to start for Kansas City next year. So one of your starting corners need to come from that group. One of your starting defensive linemen, one of your starting safeties need to come out of that group for next year. Because you drafted so poorly, I would say, over the last couple of years in this regard with starters. And because I would say you made a lot of depth-type moves in free agency, it's now time to start. You got to start finding who the next Pro Bowlers are going to be. You got to hit on a guy who turns out to be the next All-Pro for you. You did that back in 2021. You did that in 2022. You got to figure out a way to do that in 2026 and next year's draft of 2027 to get this thing back on track for the second half of Patrick Mahomes' career. Coming up on the other side, I'm starting to have my suspicions about the World Cup. I'll explain. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler at Chain Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, never with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship, because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This afternoon, expect slight showers with clearing skies later in the day.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
Follow this station on Instagram at @TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
I want to start this conversation by saying I don't know a whole lot about the World Cup. And almost everything I know about the World Cup, at least from a soccer perspective, I know from Rob. I can't tell you who's in what group. I don't know a whole lot about it. But it's coming to our city. I do plan on going to at least one game because I don't know if I'll ever have another chance to attend a World Cup match. So I've been kind of keeping up with it a little bit. I haven't really heard a whole lot of positive stories about the World Cup. I mean, the United States men's team, they haven't been so good in 2026, so that's one thing. Rob, I was reading that the sporting director stepped down as we are heading towards the event. I don't know why that individual would just quit right before the thing is coming to America. There has already been a ticket scandal with the World Cup. For those of you that don't know, so I guess maybe a simplistic way of explaining it. You know how when you go to a football game, you can just buy section 301, row S, seats 7 and 9, you know? That's not how they're doing it. They're giving you the seats in like a quadrant. So you can buy, in between the goalposts, behind, in the end zone seats, lower level, and then they'll determine where your seats are. So a lot of people are buying them with the expectation, oh, I thought this was what I was going to get. And then when they actually get sent the tickets, that is not what they paid for. But what are you going to do? Not go to the World Cup? And then you already know Ticketmaster's trying to scalp you. FIFA scalping tickets. Everybody is scalping tickets. It's real nasty work. They have banned tailgating, so they're going to have football at Arrowhead with no tailgating. That's what you're supposed to do at Arrowhead. You're supposed to tailgate. There's going to be a football game with no tailgate. Do I even want to go? Do I even want to participate in this? So they have banned tailgating. So I haven't even got through all the things. The United States men's team's terrible. The director stepped down. They're gouging people on the tickets. They're pulling a bait and switch on the tickets. They've banned tailgating for the World Cup. And today, they're raising the public transportation prices. So for those of you that have never been to New York, there is a station called Penn Station. It's right outside Madison Square Garden. It's one of the busiest train stations in the world. Penn Station. So if you want to go from Madison Square Garden out to MetLife, because MetLife is in New Jersey and Madison Square Garden is in downtown Manhattan, if you want to take a train from Penn Station to Met Station, it is usually $12.90. That's a fair price. Not for this event. They are having games at MetLife. I believe the final of the tournament is actually at MetLife Stadium. The final of the World Cup. The New Jersey City Transit, they are planning on what is usually a $12 ticket on the way home. So if you go to the game and now you're trying to get back to New York City, you're trying to get back to where you live, they are going to now change that ticket that is $12 and now make it $100 to ride the public train back into the city. This is a scam, is what this is. This is a scam. I don't even like soccer this much to be signing up for this scam. This is real shady business. I didn't have any problem when the World Cup was in other countries and I just watched it on television. It never bothered me. But now that it's coming here, just all of it sounds like shenanigans to me. Did you guys see this news story a couple of days ago? Because, you know, they keep telling us how many people are coming into the city. They keep throwing out these astronomical numbers. Well, I was reading a news story a couple of days ago that they were saying, hey, if you're looking at the flights that are actually booked, that is not indicative of what we are seeing in terms of people that are here. Now, I'm not saying people can't buy plane tickets, but the matchups have been out for a while. And if you were planning on coming to America to watch the Netherlands, I feel like you would have bought your ticket by now. So they are saying, at least in terms of the planes that are scheduled to be coming into KCI to go to this event, their numbers are not matching all the other numbers that we are being told. Now, that's not to say people can't drive or catch a train or whatever those, but they're saying that the planes are not matching what they're telling us is happening. All of this sounds like a ruse to me. It does. That's just my suspicions. None of this sounds real. All of it sounds like shenanigans to me. From the absolute highest of levels. Sounds very corrupt. Very, very shady. But you know what? I don't know anything about it. So you know what? I'm going to just sit over here. I'm going to let y'all have it. I got my NBA playoffs about to start here. I can't wait to talk about it. And then you guys tell me not to talk about it. Our yearly back and forth song and dance. I'll just keep tracking the transfer portal and college basketball. I'll watch a little baseball over on this side. I'm gonna stick to the rivers and lakes that I used to. I don't know nothing about this World Cup, but it sounds to me like you have been hoodwinked, you have been bamboozled, led astray, and run amok. That's what it sounds like to me so far.
The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
I don't even know what this is.
Carrington, the AP is reporting that Diana Rossini has resigned from her role with The Athletic.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was going to happen. I'm not surprised that this is happening.
She has a statement.
She has a statement. Go ahead and read it to us.
She said in a letter that was obtained by the AP on Tuesday, quote, I have covered the NFL with professionalism and dedication throughout my career, and I stand by every story I've published. When the Page 6 item first appeared, The Athletic supported me unequivocally, expressed confidence in my work and pride in my journalism. For that, I am grateful. In the days that have followed, unfortunately, commentators in various media have engaged in self-feeding speculation that is simply unmoored from the facts, in a letter that she sent to her boss that the AP acquired. She goes on to say, moreover, the media frenzy is hurtling forward without regard for the review process The Athletic is trying to complete. It continues to escalate, fueled by repeated leaks, and I have no interest in submitting to a public inquiry that has already caused far more damage than I am willing to accept. Rather than allowing this to continue, I have decided to step aside before my current contract expires on June 30th. I do so not because I accept the narrative that has been constructed around this episode, but because I refuse to lend it further oxygen or let it define me in my career.
Okay. She looks more guilty by that statement than anything that's happened so far. Am I crazy in thinking that? If you know that your relationship with this man is on the up and up, if you know this, why would you not stay and fight for your job, fight for your reputation, if you know that you have not done anything improper over the course of your relationship? If you trust your reporting, why wouldn't you just fall back? Because right now you are the it story, because there is nothing else happening right now in the NFL. Let the dust blow over and come back, like everybody eventually comes back. Right now, you're just the it story right now in the NFL. But eventually, everybody moves on. No one cares anymore. You know how this is. I say this all the time. You just got to weather the initial PR storm, and you got to be able to weather the jokes. But now okay. All right. Goodbye, Diana Rossini. Goodbye. I never met the woman. I've never talked to the woman before, but okay. I mean, you're a cheater. I don't know what else to tell you. You cannot look at those pictures and tell me anything other than that woman is a cheater. And again, I don't care. That's your marriage. That's your relationship. There is a morals part of this, and then there is the ethical about how you have been conducting and doing your job. And this is not the first time that you have been accused of giving a little on the side for a scoop. At some point where there's smoke, there's fire. People believe that she has done this with 3 different people in the National Football League. The wife of a general manager came out and said that she was doing this with her husband. There is a long-standing rumor that Brett McKendry and Diana Rossini were fighting over Sean McVay, and now you have this story. That's how you get down. I'm not mad at it. The game is the game, but now don't try to play this high moral ground about how you conducted yourself. It sounded to me like you've been nasty. So, Diana Rossini coming to Barstool Sports. That's where this is headed. You know that's where this is headed. Diana Rossini is going to Barstool by football season. Oh, 100%. One of the two. She will be at Barstool, or she will be at Outkick, or she will have a podcast coming up before the football season. She still knows a lot of people in the National Football League. So, yeah, this is not the last we will hear of Diana Rossini. She just couldn't work for the New York Times anymore. But that doesn't mean she still can't practice media, and she still absolutely will do that with her connections. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers! It's what you are!
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000.
Get ready, Kansas City! Harris is giving you the chance to drive away in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend. Earn entries now through May 2nd, just by playing your favorite games. Want even better odds? Every Tuesday in April, score double entries to boost your chances. Then join us May 2nd for the big drawing. Adventure is calling. Will you answer? Only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When shopping for a new auto insurance policy, AAA could help you customize your coverage to fit your unique needs and budget. Trust AAA Auto Insurance to help you find the balance that works for you. See how a simple switch could make a big difference. AAA, we're always with you. Visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Foley Rental is your locally owned equipment rental store for commercial, industrial, farm, and residential projects with a large fleet of aerial lifts, telehandlers, generators, trench shoring, and temperature control equipment, plus cat skid steers, excavators, loaders, and attachments, all inspected and maintained by over 500 certified technicians, so you stay safe and on schedule. Foley Rental, committed to you from the ground up. Call 855-RENT-FOLEY or visit FoleyRental.com.
At Telly Tire, when it comes to car problems, we've heard it all. From tires to timing belts to faulty air conditioning. Ooh. At Telly Tire and Auto Centers, we've been fixing problems like these and customers' bad days for over 80 years. So relax and take it to Telly. Schedule your service at TellyTire.com.
Tonight, expect showers and thunderstorms with a low of 66.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey Kansas City, this is Cole Reagans. On your way home from the K, tune into Vern's postgame show right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
If you missed it, the breaking news, Diana Rossini has announced her resignation from The Athletic. That story just came out just a little bit ago. Wanted to pass that to you if you wanted to stay updated on what is happening with her little tryst with head coach Mike Vrabel. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by our dear friend, Josh Vernier, Royals insider, getting you ready for an important week for the Royals as they travel to Detroit and they also travel to New York to take on the Yankees. Vern, how you doing today, my man?
I'm doing all right. Now I'm just so focused on the Rossini-Vrabel thing. Trying to get back into Royals mode right now.
No, 100%. We actually just threw out the odds. We have her as minus 400 to go work for Barstool coming up in a couple of months, and Rob has her at minus 250 to go work for Outkick.
Ooh, okay. So Rob's basically saying she's not good enough for Barstool, right? Barstool ranks higher on the totem pole,
for
doesn't
sure.
it? Okay, then yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're losing. You're giving so much juice either way. I think I'm staying away from both.
No, for sure. You definitely got to stay away from it. You got to play like a plus 115 for her just to do her own thing and start her own podcast. That seems like to be the right value.
Yeah, I think I might go plus money on OnlyFans.
Right now, we're joined by our Royals insider, Josh Vernier. All right, Vern, we got important Royals things to talk about, but I got to ask you some unimportant things first. We had this question yesterday. If you were the Las Vegas Raiders and you had the first pick in a condiment draft, who would you take with the number 1 overall pick? I'll give you a little bit of time to think. I chose Louisiana hot sauce was my answer yesterday.
Man,
Rob said that he's going ranch.
I hate ranch, but, man, people will die for ranch. I think that is the number 1 overall pick. It wouldn't be mine. Man, yeah, that it's basically Louisiana hot sauce, right? Like Popeye's hot sauce. That or just straight up barbecue sauce. And I don't really have one that stands out. So I think Rob has the country's number 1 overall selection, but C-Dot, I think I'm riding with yours.
Because I thought you had to go with something that gave you a little bit of versatility in it. So, you got to take something that you can use on multiple different foods. That's why I like hot sauce. You can use it on chicken. You can use it on fish. You can use it with eggs. Like, it just can season so many different things. I thought you got great bang for your buck.
Yeah, barbecue sauce is right there. It's just there's not one that stands out enough to me to say that this one stands above the rest. And I'm not going to answer generic barbecue sauce because, you have the specific. Now, I know my wife would say Tabasco. There are some people that will ride with Tabasco over the Louisiana hot sauce every day of the week. So those are probably the top three. Tabasco, regular hot sauce, ranch, I think would be the top three. The gold, silver, and bronze is in the eye of the beholder.
What's your official stance on Miracle Whip?
Oh, mayo, all of it can hit the road. Yeah, I'm not with mayo. I don't like that either. I'm not really much of honestly, like a condiment guy. I want my cheeseburger to taste like the cheese and the burger. I want my sandwich to taste like the cheese and the deli meat that I have on it. Sometimes they just smother it with all these sauces. It's so overwhelming.
I'll get you out of here at least with this, with these non-baseball questions, and then we'll get to the baseball questions. I can't remember if I asked you about the Royal City Connect uniforms or not. Are you a fan of theirs?
I wouldn't buy them. The last City Connects would be the one if I was going to purchase a jersey. I think those ones I would look best in. But I know there's plenty of people, certainly the ones out at the ballpark, they loved them. And I know plenty of people in my family that like them, but no, that wouldn't be the one you would catch me wearing the number 5 George Brett jersey of.
I don't know why they just couldn't keep the same color gradient hat, but use the original Kansas City logo. The hat really throws the whole thing off to me.
Yeah, you have to throw something completely different at them because every hat that you like, they're already selling those. We're trying to find an avenue for someone that hasn't bought a Kansas City hat just yet. What do you think of this one? Will you buy this one?
Right now, we're talking to our Royals insider, Josh Vernier. All right, Vern, let's talk a little bit of baseball here. What do you think? What do you make of Lane Thomas hitting third today for this team?
Expected. I said it on Sunday's postgame show, said it yesterday with Fesco and Dusty. When you're going up against this caliber of lefty, what we've seen this season and really for the past year plus is a lineup like this. You just haven't had a left-hander, a quote-unquote lefty killer like Lane Thomas. But this 1 through 7 is the exact same 1 through 7 we saw on opening day against Chris Sale. And Framber Valdez, a guy that's averaging more than $36 million a year after signing that contract with Detroit. He's an upper echelon lefty. Maybe the splits aren't as eye-popping as they are with Chris Sale. But no, wasn't surprised to see Vinny in the 5 spot. Wasn't surprised to see Lane hitting third.
At least for me, just looking at his numbers, I'm looking at an offense that is already struggling, and I'm questioning why not put Carter Jensen here? Why not give him more ABs? And this doesn't seem like this is what the Royals just want to do. How about we just scratch the idea of platooning right now, and let's just try to put our best 9 guys out there for the next couple of days and see if we can turn this thing around?
Sure, but who are the best 9? I have a tough time of saying, well, this guy's, Kyle Isbell against righties has been good. Carter Jensen has been good, but, runners in scoring position, lefties. He hasn't been a world beater. So I don't know how much has really been earned by those without a track record. Bobby, Michael, Salvi, Vinny, they have a track record. Lane Thomas has a smaller track record, sure, of hitting left-handed pitchers. Izzy has a track record of not hitting lefties. Kaggs hasn't looked good against southpaw so far this season. Honestly, this lineup, again, tonight's lineup is more reflective of the opponent's the guy on the hill more so than anything that's going on with the Royals. Tomorrow, I fully expect with Jack Flaherty on the hill, Vinny's going to be hitting third. Vinny back in the 4 spot. But you want to focus on winning today's game. You can, you only can win today's game today. So why not put the 9 out there that you believe give you the best chance against Framber Valdez? And looking at the 1 through 9, it's hard to argue that someone should be higher, someone should be lower, someone that's on the bench should be in that starting 9. Because again, not many on this offense have overly impressed. Sure, Kyle Isbell got off to a nice start, is off to a nice start. But do I believe he's a 400 hitter? Of course not. Do I believe he's more of what we've seen against lefties this season? Yeah. Yeah, I just have a tough time thinking that this offense is just a lineup tweak away from clicking. It's your stars being stars. Vinny and Salvi right now, I mean, 3 for 36 with runners in scoring position. Nobody in baseball's come to the plate with ducks on the ponds and failed more than Salvi. I mean, the next closest is a rookie outfielder for the Mets who's 0 for 14. Salvi's 0 for 19. Put him wherever you want. The spots are going to find Vinny. The spots are going to find Salvi. Either they come through or this offense is going to continue to be dormant.
Right now, we're talking to our Royals insider, Josh Vernier. Are you reading into Vinny's struggles any deeper than this is his usual March, April swoon?
Yeah, that's a cop-out to me. That's letting him off the hook. They just gave you all that financial security, man. And the day after that was Royals rally, and I sat right across from him, and he says, because I asked him about being bad in April, and how are you going to fix that in 2026? And his plan was to leave the very next day, get out to spring training, get as many ABs in before the World Baseball Classic so he could be on time, and he wouldn't have that early season slump. But here we are again. Am I reading anything into it? Well, all I have right now is to go off of the last game that I watched back on Sunday, and that was as lost of a Vinny Pasquantino as rushed at the dish. I mean, just no tempo, no rhythm for a guy that's all rhythm. Especially if you've been to a game, you watch him in the on-deck circle, you watch how methodic he is with his approach, his preparation. He looked all sorts of out of whack on Sunday, and facing a guy in Framber Valdez, you wouldn't think it would bode well. Vinny has taken him deep in the past before. So we'll see. He's going to have to stay in there. I mean, you can't be leaping against a guy like Framber Valdez. You start lunging, and he's going to expose you. No, I don't think it's similar to the past few struggles, the past few April struggles for Vinny, because in the past, to me, it was, 2 years ago, it's a guy trying to prove himself that I'm a big leaguer. Last year, it was all between the ears, and this season, I think it's not only between the ears, but I think it's physical. Again, just looks completely out of whack. Now, maybe it's fixed. Maybe it gets right tonight. He's certainly capable of flipping the switch. We saw it last year. He gets to May, and suddenly he's one of the 10 best hitters in Major League Baseball for the rest of the season. Hopefully that starts tonight.
Right now, we're talking to our Royals insider, Josh Vernier, for a few more minutes here. I guess same question about Salvador Perez. If there's somebody I'm willing to give a pretty long leash in figuring it out, it's going to be Salvi. Now, I know our show gets the label of throwing washed on people. I'm not doing that right now with Salvador Perez. I'm willing to give Salvi another month before we start having this conversation.
Yeah, just because whatever he's going through right now, he's been through it before. Body language looks perfect. He's healthy. He's still energetic, ready to play, eager to play, excited to play. I wouldn't even say I'm concerned about Vinny, but Vinny, I can watch him and say, oh yeah, that guy's going through it right now. Salvi, not so much. Even after a disappointing plate appearance, it's still a jog back to the dugout, positive attitude, believing that the next AB is going to be better.
This is a big week to me with the Royals. I understand that it's early on in the season, but you're going up against two teams that the perception is that these teams are ahead of you. You also avoid Skubal this week, and you're going on the road to play a team in the Yankees that really just smacked you around last year. I know it's early on in the season, but this feels like a really important week for the Royals.
Yeah, I think it's important for the clubhouse. It's obviously huge for the fan base going into the draft, to where the Royals could, be further than back burner. If you drop these two series, there is absolutely no defense to the cries of same old Royals, because that means you're under the thumb again of Cleveland, of Detroit, and the New York Yankees. And, if we're being real, this current run, the Matt Quatrero, Bobby Witt Jr., Kansas City Royals, it's those three teams, in my opinion. It's the Yankees, it's the Tigers, and it's the Guardians. Those are the three teams we've been looking up at, so to speak. So if you drop the series to Cleveland and drop a series to Detroit and drop a series to New York all in the month of April, Yeah, that's going to have very negative ripple effects among the fan base. And inside the clubhouse, you wonder how that penetrates the dome of, are we who we thought we were? Do they have the veteran leadership to power through a 2-4 road trip? I'll be anxious to see. I know they have leaders in there, but they have very much lead by example guys. Do they have the Adam Frazier? We'll see if Starling Marte can fill that role. Maybe Vinny's that guy. He needs to start hitting before anybody's trying to hear what he has to say. But, yeah, it's big for the clubhouse. It's big for the fan base. But as far as the win-loss record, plenty of time regardless of what happens.
That is our Royals insider, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today. He's going to take over in about an hour and 15 minutes as the Royals are in the Eastern time zone, so they get things going a little bit earlier today. Vern, we look forward to catching up with you later in the week to see how this series went against the Tigers.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is our Royals insider, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today. We'll get back to the Royals, but right now we got a little bit of breaking news.
The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
Former Michigan head coach Sharon Moore, he has now faced his penalty for his actions last year. He has been placed on 18 months probation. He is not going to get any jail time. He has court fines that total around $1,000. He cannot have any contact with Paige Shriver. He cannot mention her on social media. Plus, he must continue alcohol and marijuana, or he cannot use marijuana or alcohol and must continue treatment for Sharon Moore. Now, Rob, I would say, now obviously the man lost his job, but you are not going to go to jail. You got these 18 months. This seems like very realistic punishments for you to just keep your head down and stay out of the eye. And I think if Sharon Moore does this and we don't hear about him and he just stays cool for the next year and a half, I think he will get another chance to coach. Now, is he going to get a job comparable to the one that he had? No, but somebody will absolutely give Sharon Moore an opportunity in 2 to 3 years if he can just keep his head down, not cause any more noise, follow all of these conditions and show that he is a changed man. He will get another opportunity. He might have to go down to a smaller level or maybe be an assistant somewhere, but he had enough success at Michigan that I think he'll get another chance to coach again.
The path for him back into coaching, now that we have his, full details, is he'll be out for a year. I don't think he'll coach anywhere this year. No, nothing. He'll do the 18 months. Hey, I'm, getting right. I'm figuring out my life, so on and so forth. He will be a quality control coach or an offensive analyst or something at a big school. I know he went to Oklahoma, so I was using this as an example. He'll be the offensive analyst in charge of running backs at Oklahoma. There'll be a small blip of conversation, and then he'll do that for a year or two, and then he'll be in a position coach somewhere, and you're right. One day at Central Michigan or at a MAC school, he'll pop up as their head coach, and you'll wonder, I wonder how he's doing. Does he have a chance on their big job again? That's kind of how I feel his path is. I don't think he goes from this.
I disagree with you on his path. You know what I think his path is? I think his path is going to coach at HBCU. That's what I think his path is.
I think he has to start with analyst somewhere to weather the storm of I'm back. Then he eventually gets a head coaching job somewhere. But I think he'll be an HBCU. That's fair. That's fair.
I just think if you got these 2 years, this is not that bad, honestly. I'm not condoning what he did by any means. 18 months probation. You don't go to jail. These are reasonable probation. Hey, don't drink, don't smoke, leave that girl alone, continue treatment, mind your business. And if you can just sit still for a year and a half, he can absolutely be a head coach at a lower level somewhere. He can absolutely go down and be a D2 head coach somewhere. He can absolutely go be a coach at a HBCU in 2 years if that's what he really, really wants to do. Now, I don't know what kind of connections he's made in the sport. Like maybe you're really close to somebody and somebody else helps you out, gives you a job, and kind of helps push you along. But sports always forgive people and always bring people back. He got caught slipping up outside of his marriage. If he just stays cool, I think he gets back in. I also think what he is accused of, there's enough cheaters in professional sports, in college sports. I don't think that's going to be frowned upon as much as people would think in that fraternity in that circle of people if he just continues to be out of sight, out of mind, and not continues to be a problem.
It's worth noting, I'm reading Dan Wetzel's story, which Dan Wetzel's so good at this.
He's the best.
I think he might be the best. He's saying that one of the reasons why he's not facing jail time is Sharon Moore's wife was cited as one of the reasons. A quote here from the story.
She's sticking by him.
The person who is saving you from the full wrath of this court is the person who you betrayed and sitting next to you. That's his wife. So, I mean, the fact that he and his wife are together does seem to at least help his PR stock and has kept him out of jail. Because you and I agree. If he was in jail, he's done.
That's a weird thing to say, in my opinion, as a judge.
I'm just reading the quote.
The only reason I'm not sending you to jail is your wife continues to support you. So what, but
the full wrath is because of the person you betrayed.
Yeah, but if his wife just decided, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to leave, now the judge sends him, that's kind of silly to me. That's a little browbeating to me.
That's got a judicial system in America.
It don't matter. He ain't going to jail.
He ain't going to jail.
For him.
The why is I'm just telling you the why from Dan Wetzel's story. But yes, I think he's out of head coaching longer than you do. Do you agree though? He gets a job in the 2027 season, and it's a story in like August. Hey, can you believe he's the quality control coach of Team Blank, and then we don't hear from him again?
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I agree that I would be stunned if he went to a Power 4 or even a good mid-major job. I just think there's enough football coaching jobs that are out there that I think he'll be able to find one. And for him, he can only answer this question. Is it better for you to go be a head coach at an MIAA school, for example, than to be the quality control coach on a major school? Is it better for you to be the head coach at Jackson State, for example, than go do one of these things? But I do think there's enough opportunities out there if you're a head coach that I think you can get out of this.
And I don't disagree with your concept. I just think that the path back is usually quality control coach. Like, I don't think his next job is a head coach anywhere. I think he is position coach, quality control coach somewhere, and then he begins the rehab path. Like, I don't want to compare his situation to anyone who's been fired, but how many times did Nick Saban hire disgraced former coach?
For sure.
They get a random job.
That's what
on
I'm saying.
the staff.
A lot of it just depends on who you know in the situation and who can bring you back into the fold, honestly, is what it is. Like, do you have somebody in a high enough place that has enough public equity that can bring you in, wrap your arms around him, and say, this is my guy? Because that stuff really matters. Like, how close are you to Steve Sarkisian, for example, at Texas? How close are you to Harbaugh, who was in at Michigan, that now he brings you on to be the running back for the Los Angeles Chargers?
Maybe trying to start looking at that Harbaugh tree. So see who's the head coach in that.
For sure.
Maybe he'll be the running back coach of the Ravens in a year because Jesse Minter's the head coach. That's how I think his path back is. Not that he can't be a head coach, but I think he's, figures it out somewhere before coming all the way back to head coach. I also agree with you. He's never getting a job as good as Michigan ever again. If he's a head coach again, he's not the head coach at Alabama one day. He is probably
that time in your career was over. The moment you went over that girl's house, you completely lost the opportunity to be able to do that. Do you agree with Vern? Because Vern said he is not giving Vinny a cop-out. He is not giving Vinny it's early in the season, you always start slow cop-out. Do you agree with Vern?
I think it's fair by Vern to not give him the cop-out. I know. He told Vern at Royals Rally, I'm going to go down there early. I'm going to get my body ready. I'm going to be right mentally so this doesn't happen. World Baseball Classic. I know he didn't set the world on fire. He had a 3-home-run game, but the idea was more live ABs, more reps so that I'm not having this bad April. And here we sit, 14 days into April, and he's having a bad April. So I do tend to agree with Vern. I think he can fix it, but I'm not saying same old Vinny, so it goes. I think he should be held a little bit accountable for the fact that he is lost at the dish right now.
Coming up on the other side, I want to play for you guys what Adam Schefter had to say about the Chiefs draft plan. The Chiefs, we are, 8-9 days away from the start of the NFL draft. The Chiefs have 9 selections in the NFL draft. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk a little bit of NFL draft. Adam Schefter was on ESPN today talking about what he believes the strategy is for Kansas City as they are heading into the first round of the NFL draft. We'll do that next. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com, Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Tonight, pro basketball play-in games in the postseason, and in the West, the 7-8 matchup. Phoenix about a 3.5 point home favorite against Portland. Total in the game, 217.5. And Portland has been the preferred betting choice in this game. Portland has a bunch of really good young players, but I like Phoenix in the spot. Phoenix has postseason experience. Phoenix's point guard is the star of this game, and I ultimately think that experience will lead Phoenix to a win. I'd like to wait to see if the line keeps going down, but give me Phoenix tonight laying it against Portland to advance to the playoffs. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
If the high cost of filling up is weighing you down, lighten your load at Hy-Vee. This Saturday and Sunday, get a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount with every $60 purchase. Stock up on groceries and stack up the fuel savings. Earn 30 cents per gallon with your $60 purchase. 60 cents per gallon with a $120 purchase. The more you spend, the more you'll save. Your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss the 2-day Fuel Saver event this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
With 2 kids in 4 sports, sometimes we don't even have time to eat, and that means sometimes we can't get to the store. That's when Hy-Vee saves the day. We love ordering our groceries online and having them delivered. It saves us so much time, and it's easy. Just download the app or go to Hy-Vee.com. Choose your store, select your items, and Hy-Vee does all the shopping. All I have to do is pick up my order or have it delivered to my home, which is free, by the way, with my Perks Plus membership. Save time, save money. What could be better? Only at Hy-Vee.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
1-816-888-7500. Mike's got this. The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Raytown, you've got a snow blocking part of the right lane, 435 northbound just before 63rd. Again, right lane blocked. Move over to the left through here. We've got to crash with debris cleanup, 435 southbound as you approach 40 Highway 70 westbound. Be prepared to tap your brakes. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into the show. Let's talk a little bit of NFL draft. Louis Riddick was on the midday show earlier today, and he responded to the idea that the game has passed Andy Reid by. How quickly things change, do they not? I remember it was a year ago, people were debating if Andy Reid was a better coach than Bill Belichick and if he was the best coach of his generation. You have one bad season in which everything goes wrong, and now you should retire. The game has passed you by. Oh, how fickle the mob can be. Let me play for you guys what Adam Schefter had to say. He was on ESPN earlier today. He was asked about the Chiefs' draft strategy. Here's what he said.
Well, Hannah, 9 days out of the draft with number 9 in their selection on their arsenal. They also have the 29th pick. So there's a lot of nines there. There's a lot of history there, a lot of favorable history for the Chiefs. And this is a team that has a lot of needs to address because during the offseason, they traded Trent McDuffie to the Los Angeles Rams for the 29th overall pick. They lost their other starting cornerback, Jalen Watson, to the Rams also. So there are holes in the cornerback position. At the same time, they need people to protect Patrick Mahomes, and they need to get more weapons to Patrick Mahomes. And that could even be tight end, Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. There are a lot of ways that they can go about it, but I think the way the Chiefs are going to frame this is, are we better off going with a cornerback at 9 and a weapon and a protector at 29, or are we better off going offensive lineman at 9 and coming back maybe to get a cornerback there? They have to think about these two picks in combination as they get closer to next week.
That offensive tackle just continues to be thrown out there by just about everybody. We don't have to talk about it, but I will continue to maintain if you are completely shut off to the idea that the Chiefs can draft an offensive tackle at number 9, I just don't know if you've been paying attention, or maybe you just don't want to hear it, which I understand. But I continue to think there is a chance that they end up doing that. I think most people would agree with what Adam Schefter had to say. Now that they have those 2 first-round picks, it does open up a little bit of flexibility. Now that they have 4 picks in the top 75, it opens up the possibility of what they can get. That's sort of why I have been open to the fact of I think they have 4 or 5 pretty massive needs. So how they go about addressing them, I'm not going to be too caught up and too concerned with the how. But I think we would all agree there are certain things that they need to come away with in the NFL draft. They need to come up with a pass rusher that they really like. They need to come away with the wide receiver that they like. They need to start retooling the secondary and retooling the cornerback room. I think they need a somewhat long-term plan at right tackle. There's about 4 or 5 things that I think you can put on the checklist for the Kansas City Chiefs. And since you have some premium assets and premium picks to go address them, I'm not talking about in the 6th round you addressing these. I'm talking about with 9, 29, 40, and 74, you got the ammunition to go draft somebody who can help you from a day 1 position. So that's why I'm just maybe more open than what other people are. If you're going to go corner at number 9, great. If you want to go right tackle at number 9 and that guy is going to be your day 1 starter and you're going to acknowledge that you messed up with Jalen Moore, I don't really have an issue with it. If you're going to draft a wide receiver and now that's going to be your number 1 for the future, I do think the flexibility with how many selections that they have, I do think the board is kind of open to them in the direction that they can go.
I agree with you. And to that point, I think Adam Schefter made a good point. They're going to use these picks in tandem. Now, we don't know how the board's going to shake out. It's the draft. You never know. Maybe the Cowboys trip to 5. You never know what's going to happen. but I do think the Chiefs will use these picks in tandem. If they feel like the board has shaken out just right and they can get an edge rusher they like at 29, TJ Parker, I think he's the kid from Clemson, and they have a chance at Jordan Tyson at 9, I think they'll be doing that. Maybe they have the inverse. Maybe they have a chance at Reuben Bain at 9, and they think we can get Denzel Boston at 29. Or we think we can get Chris Johnson, a corner from San Diego State at 29. I think the Chiefs are going to have to view this as, I know everyone views it as 2 first-round picks, but it's not identifying need, but identifying where the board is. And if the Chiefs think, hey, the board isn't right for edge, keep an eye out for wide receiver or tackle. If the board isn't right for wide receiver tackle, keep an eye out for edge. But they do have a safety net of sorts in 29 and 40 in their back pocket.
Yeah, I'm just more big on, I think you and I would agree, Rob, there are certain things that they have to come away with.
I think there's 4 big needs, but yes, go ahead.
We agree, pass rusher.
Yep.
They need to get a pass rusher.
Edge rusher.
They need to get a wide receiver.
Yep.
I would say
corner,
pass rush, wide receiver, secondary. I would consider those 3 things to be immediate needs, where at right tackle, I can admit, I think right tackle could possibly be a need for this upcoming season. It is much more of a need for 2027 when they do not have that much of a plan. Like if you were telling me it's Issa Pole who played when the season was basically over and this organization cut him a year ago at this time, I'm not too excited about that being the long-term plan at tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why I've always been open to the idea if that's what they can do.
I don't think it's a first-round need. I don't think it's a number 9 need, but I also have swing tackle, right tackle, offensive line on the list. Those are the thing of the 4. I think it's edge rusher, wide receiver, corner, and right tackle. Those are, I think, there are 4 needs where on the Monday after the draft, they will have to have addressed those 4 positions with either 1 or multiple picks. Like if they take 2 wide receivers, I'm not going to be mad. If they take 2 corners, I'm not going to be mad. But we can't on Monday be talking about, oh man, they didn't draft any tackle at all. I think that would be a miss by this team and this franchise. But those are the big 4 needs. They have 9 picks to address those 4.
Let's play another cut from Adam Schefter. So he was on the Pat McAfee show. There is going to be a trade next week. There always is in the National Football League. There's going to be a couple of moves next week because the deadline is approaching and the deadlines make deals. So if you are holding on to that Jonathan Greener guy with Minnesota and you need to make a move, you don't really have too many chances to be able to make that move, take the compensation, and turn it into your chips in this year's NFL draft. So I think we're going to get news here over the next 7 days in the National Football League before we get to the draft. One player who I feel pretty confident is going to be traded is A.J. Brown. Here is Adam Schefter talking about the A.J. Brown possible trade.
I think there's every possibility that he could be traded. Everybody around the league believes that. Doesn't mean it happens, but it's certainly on the table. And so the Eagles have taken the steps they need to. Now, you can look at it the other way and say, okay, they went out and added Elijah Moore too. Elijah Moore and A.J. Brown were college teammates. Maybe you're trying to entice A.J. Brown. But I think when all is said and done, I think I'd lean him being traded. And they now have gone out and added Dontavian Wicks. They've added Hollywood Brown. They've added Elijah Moore. I think they've taken off some of the emphasis that they need to go get a wide receiver, let's just say in round 1. Like, I would think that they're going to draft a wide receiver here at some point in time. I still think the chance of an A.J. Brown trade are real.
Yeah, I think that A.J. Brown is being traded next week to the New England Patriots. I think that's the only team that makes sense at this point to go trade for A.J. Brown. I think it has been in the works for some amount of time. I also think you see teams do this when they are in the position like the New England Patriots. You got a good quarterback on a rookie contract. Now's the time that you make a move to potentially get yourself over the hump. The Patriots were probably, honestly, a year ahead of schedule. I don't know many people that thought they were a Super Bowl team last year. A lot of people thought they could be better. A lot of people thought that they could be a playoff team last year. Not many people thought they could maybe be the best team in the AFC. I still think that roster could use some improvements. If you go out and you give Drake May a legitimate number 1 like A.J. Brown, then you could be talking about you being at the top of that division, and you could be talking about a repeat trip to the Super Bowl. So I do expect sometime next week, probably Monday or Tuesday, I do think that you will see a trade happen for A.J. Brown. I do think that he is going to be the newest member of the New England Patriots.
It just makes too much sense. I don't know who else is going to even be really in like, at this point in time, who really is making an aggressive move for A.J. Brown? Because he's got a prohibitive contract you have to renegotiate. So you got to be a team that can take on salary and has to need a wide receiver.
A lot of those teams have already paid wide receiver, too.
And, I mean, the teams that haven't paid wide receiver and are wide receiver needy in that same, space are picking in the top 15. Would you rather have A.J. Brown at 30 years old in his contract? I know he's not 30 yet, but have him on your team when he's 30 and his contract, or take a risk on Jordan Tyson? Like, if you're the Chiefs, I'm trading an asset for A.J. Brown instead of maybe drafting Malachi Lemon at 9. Like, it's a very small window of teams that fit the need for A.J. Brown on both the front and the back end.
Coming up on the other side, I have a question that I want to throw out to you guys. I don't want to give you too much information, but there is a trend that is spreading around the United States that eventually is going to happen here in Kansas City. I'm curious what you would do if this happened. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here, The Drive.
Your off-season home for everything Chiefs football.
Talking about the top story, the Chiefs, they have a new offensive coordinator.
96.5, The Fan.
This is one of my favorite times of the sports calendar. Basketball fans, NBA fans, listen up. You can enter FanDuel's Play-In Palooza for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets every day during the play-in tournament. All you have to do is place a live bet using your Play-In Palooza token. Then you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. So don't just watch the NBA play-in tournament from the sidelines. You can get in on the action. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/local. And don't forget to enter FanDuel's Play-In Palooza for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Go to FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local. And remember to play your game with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app and official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Limit 1 entry. Profit boost bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token. Prizes issued non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days as a treat. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Busey, banking is about more than numbers. It's about relationships. For over 150 years, we've been helping individuals, families, and businesses reach their goals with personalized service and local decision-making. Whether you're opening your first account or planning your next big move, we're here with the tools and support to help you move forward with confidence. Busey Bank, your partner for life's moments, both big and small. Member FDIC.
In a field of thousands, one has emerged. Back from the brink, now poised to take its rightful place amongst the greatest lawns of all time. It's the birth of a true turf champion, and a story that will live on at summer barbecues and in neighborhood group chats for all time. Your lawn is back, baby, and it's Weedman for the win. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get one free service.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks while protecting your truck. Cause 30 told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Granger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Granger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Royals coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, a contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Located in KC and Topeka, online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Okay, coming out of downtown, right lane is closed. 70 eastbound just past 23rd. That explains the backup. You definitely want to. Yep, right lane block. Scoot to the left through here. Crash now. 35 southbound at Paseo. It is in the clearing stages, but there's already backup you've got to tend to. It'll take a few minutes for you to get through there. I'm Valwood. Traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right. Can we move away from sports for just a little bit? This is something we never talked about on the show, but I'm genuinely curious. So today, as I'm surfing the internet, coming up with topics, ideas of things to talk about on the show, I started reading more about Waymo. For those of you that don't know what Waymo is, these are cars with no driver. They drive themselves. You get in a Toyota Camry, they have no driver. It uses some form of technology. We don't got to get all the way into it, but it is a taxi without a taxi driver. I believe this is coming to every American city, or at least there is going to be a conversation in every American city. Now, I know this is outside the country, but right now they are working towards having this in Toronto. They recently launched this in Nashville. They're having debates about this in Chicago. And Rob, I'm just throwing it out there. With the possibility and likeliness of a downtown stadium in Kansas City, I could see us having a conversation about Waymo here coming up at some point in the next couple of years or so. Would you get into one of these things? Let's say that you park somewhere down in the River Market, for example. You park a little bit outside of the area. You can pay $15, $20 to get in this Waymo. It's going to take you down to the stadium. It's going to drop you off in the front. You can walk in and you can go to the game. Is this something that you would use? Would you get into a car that does not have a driver?
The simple answer is yes, but I think it's more complex than that. Like, for example, you know how I love my Crossroads. I love the Crossroads area. From where I live now at 135th and Antioch, I don't know I'd take a driverless car from there down to a brewery in the Crossroads. But let's say it's a Saturday and I'm, down in the plaza having brunch, hanging out, and I'm like, I get a call from some friends, hey, come down to River Market, we're going to watch the game. I would take it from Plaza River Market. I would take it from, Crown Center, New Kaufman area out to Westport. I think there are, in all the entertainment district areas, I would ride it. But if I was Dusty and lived in Lee Summit, I wouldn't be out at the bars on a Friday night and then driverless car back to Lee Summit. I would want a person at the helm in that capacity.
So people are saying on the text line, because I've seen these in real time. I have never personally gotten in one of these. I recently went to visit one of my really good friends in San Francisco, and they just have a bunch of these right now that are driving out. And the last time that I was there, they were early in the testing phase. of everything, someone said that they have this currently in Phoenix. The car just cannot go on the highway, so it's only going to drive on the residential areas. Now, I'm guessing the technology just over time is going to continue to get better and better and better, and eventually this car will have the ability to go on the highway. This is very interesting. I would try it. I'm like you. I got to try it in a controlled setting. Like they have these in Las Vegas that can take you up and down the Las Vegas Strip. Would I get in one of these things that would take me from one hotel to another? Yeah, I'd give it a try. I'd try it. I am intrigued enough to get in one of these kind of things. I think this might be just our generation. I can't really see my mom ever getting in one of these things. Is your parents getting in one of these things? I don't know if I'd even put my grandparents in one of these kind of cars. But would I myself roll the dice and get into one of these cars that doesn't have a driver? I'd give it a chance. I'd try it.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned Vegas. Are you more likely to try this? Let's say it came to Kansas City. Are you more likely to try it in town or out of town? Because I would not want to do it out of town. I would only do it in town. So, like, for the example, let's say I'm at, Manny's on Southwest Boulevard, and I want to go to a KU game at T-Mobile Center. I would take it there because I know the route, so I can kind of see what's happening. If I was in Phoenix, as the text line mentioned, I would be terrified because I have no idea if the computer is doing right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't know. I would take it in a foreign city to me. I don't know. I would take it out of town. I just don't know the route well enough.
Yeah, I don't know. The text line right now is saying, text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, I just returned from Austin. Austin is littered with these. I think they're great. Somebody else is saying they have them in Atlanta. They have them in San Francisco. I know this is not a Kansas City conversation right now, but trust me, this conversation is coming to Kansas City. It's in too many major markets now at this point for it not to eventually just continue to spread and grow the way that it is. So yes, it's in Chicago, or they're having conversations about it in Chicago. It's in Toronto. It's in Vegas. It's in San Francisco. It's in Phoenix. It's in Nashville. Eventually, they will be having this conversation in Kansas City. And this is going to be like the new form of like bird scooters. You remember when bird scooters took over? And those Lime scooters that took over? And one day we didn't have Lime scooters. And the next day you looked up and it was just like, they're just littered all across downtown. I'm telling you, this thing is coming soon. Very, very soon.
To your point about the limes and the birds and the whole thing with the scooters, maybe not Waymo coming to Kansas City, but let's say Uber tries this, or Lyft tries this, or Google tries this. Some company is going to launch this program in Kansas City. Kansas City is too big of a market with too many people that for them to just ignore forever. It is coming to this town. Just how, I don't know.
For sure. Somebody said, I think KC is too spread out. If you're telling me that it can't go on the highway, or at least in some cities it is programmed to not go on the highway, some people will just use this as an Uber alternative. Mm-hmm. That's what they will use. They use it as an Uber alternative. So, for example, if you live close to Westport, enough where you don't have to get on the highway, you don't have to risk getting a DUI, and you can just, hey, I'll get in one of these things. It's $15. It will also pick me up and take me back home. I think a lot of people would give this a try.
I think, to the texter's point and your point, you're right. I could never take this down to the plaza for a date night because that's too much. There's highway involved. But let's say I was in Westport and I wanted to go to River Market. You can make that move without ever getting on the highway. It's a lot of maneuvering down Main Street, but it can absolutely happen. I would take the risk of this, but I would have to be in a very controlled environment. Like from your apartment down to the crossroads, I'd 100% do it. That's a easy commute that I'm willing to take the risk on.
Yeah, text line 913-586-7965. I just wanted to throw that out there. I was doing a little bit of reading today about Waymo. If you don't know what Waymo is, it is basically a taxi service with no taxi drivers. I believe Waymo is owned by Google, and they essentially just use Google Maps to kind of survey the land, and it will pick you up like an Uber. It will drop you off, and there is no driver. They have something like this in Vegas. I recently saw it. It's like not a car, but it's like a carriage, honestly.
It's like, is that the Tesla Hyperloop thing?
No, not the Hyperloop, because that's underground. This is like an above ground. It's the same concept as a Waymo, but it's not a Waymo. It's like it honestly is like sitting in one of those carriages that you would run on the plaza with a horse. And it's smaller than a car, and it would just drive you up and down the strip. It's like pretty recent, I think, in Las Vegas. I don't know the exact name of the text line, probably knows, but I have seen that though.
Is the Hyperloop underground driverless too?
I don't think so. I've never actually ridden it before. I actually am going to ride it this weekend because one of the hotels that I'm staying at the Westgate, and it has one of those loop stops there. So I'm like, yeah, I'll probably give it a try this week. I'm actually kind of curious to see how the Hyperloop works.
If it's driverless, I'm curious what you think, because that would be, I mean, it's to and from in Vegas if it's the Hyperloop, but that's like the pilot program, for lack of a better term. The carriage thing in Vegas would be weird to me. I don't know how I would do the carriage.
Yeah, I gotta look it up. I don't know the name of it. I've seen it before. I just don't know the name on the top of my head, but maybe it's the Texan knows what I'm talking about. It's not Waymo. I've seen Waymo's in like an actual car. This is not a car. It looks like a carriage that they are taking you around in. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, let's switch gears just a little bit. Today, they are having the city council meetings about the downtown stadiums. There's going to be a vote on Thursday about the stadiums. We know what the results are going to be. We had Nathan Willen on, who is a member of Kansas City City Council. He told us that all they need is a simple majority to get something passed. They have 13 members. 9 people signed the letter last week about the plan. So anybody that signs that letter, you have to assume that they are going to vote yes once this thing actually comes through. So the mayor has already got all of the support that he needs in the city to be able to get this thing through. Now, it is up for the Royals to approve this. I got a feeling they are. I'll tell you at least what I know about this, and I'll give you my reaction to a lot of the opposition that is happening to this. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
Okay, coming out of downtown, right lane is closed. 70 eastbound just past 23rd. That explains the backup. You definitely want to. Yep, right lane block. Scoot to the left through here. Crash now. 35 southbound at Paseo. It is in the clearing stages, but there's already backup you've got to tend to. It'll take a few minutes for you to get through there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America and a member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park and Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Trading the jacket for flip-flops? Start your sun-soaked getaway stress-free with Park and Go. All covered parking keeps your car cool and protected while you're catching rays. Quick shuttle straight to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family-owned, customer approved.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello, this is Jason Gudenkoff with Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas, the home of $50 over factory invoice. Since 1979, our $50 over factory invoice pricing has been saving Kansas City Ford buyers thousands of dollars when buying a new Ford. Our no-hassle $50 over invoice pricing has helped us become the #1 F-150 dealer in the state of Kansas. And now, for the 9th time, the #1 F-150 dealer in the entire Kansas City area. At Lewisburg Ford, we understand that price is important, but it doesn't stop there. There's other factors to this equation: trade allowance, financing, and customer satisfaction. We don't just say that we're great at taking care of customers, we actually do it. Ford Motor Company has awarded us with the President's Award 23 times. This is the top honor that they give their Ford dealers for customer satisfaction in sales and in service. So if you're in the market for a new Ford, come see us at Lewisburg Ford. You can reach us at 816-444-2300 or on the web at lewisburgford.com.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Here they come. A baseball-sized hailstorm means every roofer for 500 miles is on his way here to ring your doorbell. Before that happens, go online to jrstormcheck.com and relax. JR & Company is locally owned, veteran-owned, and family-owned. JR & Company offers a lifetime warranty on workmanship. But best of all, JR & Company offers a free Class 4 shingle upgrade. What does that mean? Most insurance companies offer premium discounts on Class 4 shingles. Remember, no roofer can legally offer to pay your deductible, but a free shingle upgrade can reduce premiums for years to come. Why do we do this? Because we can. A lifetime workmanship warranty and free shingle upgrade. It's why we say,
You're always better with a roof from JR.
just visit jrstormcheck.com.
This report is brought to you by CM Mose & Son, HVAC, Plumbing, and Electrical Services, cmmoseandson.com.
Dispatch, this is Mindy at CM Mose & Son. Coming to terms with a dying AC unit is tough. If you need to replace your AC, visit cmmoseandson.com to schedule your free estimate. CM Mose & Son, license 202919. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey Royals fans, it's Seth Lugo. Don't miss Vern's on Deck show 1 hour before first pitch right here on 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, let's talk about this story. So let me just explain it as quickly as I can. The city has all the votes they need to approve the downtown stadium. There are people that are opposing the idea of the downtown stadium. Now, maybe this isn't a sports talk radio way of looking at things, but we all live in the real world. I think that this is one of the subjects that everybody can be right on. From what I have seen, and maybe there are more groups than this, 913-586-7965. From what I've seen over the last 4 or 5 days, this is the two camps that I have seen. I have seen camp number one. I think a majority of Kansas City is really excited about this. I believe that we all have our questions about it. This is new. This is different. This is going to change the way that we have experienced Royals games, something that we have been to for 30, 40, 50 years at the Truman Sports Complex. So it is going to be different. How is parking going to work? How are you going to get to the game? The flow of traffic. Do they have enough space down there? I mean, we're talking about an almost $2 billion project. What's the entertainment district going to look like? We have a million questions that eventually they are going to have to answer, but I do believe that there is a measure of excitement for downtown baseball in Kansas City, Missouri. I am excited for what this means for the surrounding areas. What does this mean for Union Station for more people to be down there? What does this mean for Crown Center? What does this mean for that area down there as the streetcar expands, as shops go and hotels and restaurants and all of the things that they are telling us how great this new baseball stadium is going to be for downtown Kansas City. So I am excited about it. I've got my questions, but I'm also excited about it. And I think a lot of Kansas City is also excited about it. Now, this is where I think the other side is also right in what they are saying. I do understand the logic, and we're going to have one of these people come on the show tomorrow to explain to us why they oppose this idea. But I do understand the logic of, you guys did a public vote the first time. Your public vote got crushed the last time when you asked us to use our tax dollars to help fund your stadium. You now have found a way to get your stadium paid for using our money without using our permission. That's not a bad argument to me. I've said this from the very, very beginning. My stance on this has been unchanged now for 3 years when we've been having this conversation. If your standpoint is, I hate the idea of them using our public money to build their private stadium to then have us turn around and have to pay for access to the stadium, I do not think that is a wrong stance to have. In fact, your stance on that is more than likely the right stance to have. If everything was even, if the world was fair, then you know what the billion-dollar teams would do? They would just say, we don't need any of your money. We've got enough of our own money. So we're going to build it, and we're going to keep all of the profits from it, and nobody can tell us otherwise. That sounds like a really good plan to me. But that's also not the real world. That is not in the country that we live in. So yes, they are going to take some of our money to build their stadium so that we can enjoy. Again, I'm not telling you it's right. I'm just simply telling you that is how things work in most American cities, and that's how things are about to work. So I honestly, when the person comes on tomorrow, I am not mad at their stance. I am not even opposed to their stance. Now, we say this on the show, and this is like one of our show sayings. We can complain about how we think things should be, or we can just react to how things are. They do not need our approval anymore for this. They asked for our approval the first time, and a lot of people said, nope, we're good. We don't want that plan. They have now come up with a way, in a very American government kind of way, they have gotten everything that they have asked for. This is also now going to cost us more money than it was going to cost before. We gave you the numbers last week. The Royals get about $25 and $30 million a year from the 3/8 of a cent sales tax. The city is now committing $600 million to this plan. A lot of that money is ours that could be used towards other things to improve the city. And now they're gifting this money and gifting this land to a professional baseball team. I think the Royals actually got a better plan than the one that they proposed the last time. I think this is a far better plan for them. They are being given land. They're not going to build over anybody's house. They're not going to build over anybody's business. And they have been given, in my opinion, a better location that's not going to have near the opposition. I voted yes the last time, but I wasn't excited about them building it there. That's not where I wanted the stadium to go. I don't mind where they're building the stadium now. There's nothing there as it is. There's nothing there. They're building it on top of a park. And I believe that they have done all of the research to figure out how much space they need to do their idea. Now, I am not saying this as somebody that knows. I'm saying this as somebody who has a pretty strong idea of what's about to happen. I think we're going to find out that the Royals are going to accept this deal at some point in the next 7 days. I think at some point on Monday or Tuesday that the Royals are going to announce a press conference before the NFL draft that they are accepting this deal and that they are going to have a rendering of what the stadium is going to look like. Again, I'm not telling you that as I know. I strongly suggest that this is going to happen, that on Monday or Tuesday, they're going to make an announcement and tell us what the plan is. So right now, the city communicating their plan. Hey, we have this amount of money. We are about to prove this amount of money. We plan on giving it to the Royals. And then next week, like any other professional sports team, the Royals are going to say, I accept all of this. And then they're going to move forward with the plan. I honestly do not fault anybody on how they feel about this, and I think that both sides have pretty strong arguments. I am excited about what this means for the city, but I do understand the counter argument of they asked us for our opinion. The opinion was no, and now they are going to take more of our money and now build it somewhere without our permission or without our approval of where we want the stadium to be. I would argue that America just happened, and this is a system that we all have just signed up for. But I also live in America enough to know that the public is starting to fight back on these things. I don't know if it's activism culture. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know what it is. But the simple idea of, well, this is just how it goes is just not good enough for a lot of people. And they are fighting back. And that is your American right to fight back on a lot of these things. So I don't have any issues with these people protesting it and going down there and voicing their opinion. You are well within your rights. And I'm excited to have these people on the show tomorrow to talk about this and communicate why they oppose this idea. But I want to continue to remain clear on this. There is nothing to oppose anymore. They've already made their decision. Like, you've told your kid, no, you can't go to the party, and then they tell you all the reasons why they can go to the party. You don't care anymore. No, you can't go. They are telling us where the stadium they're building is going to go. It's going to go on 100 East Pershing Road. There are no more suggestions to be thrown out there. Well, why don't they do this? They're not listening to your ideas anymore. They're done with your ideas about where the stadium is going to be. They're going to tell us very, very soon where the stadium is going to go.
I'm going to ask you a question that's maybe impossible, sir. Do you think there's actually a growing public sentiment that's upset about the stadium, or is the minority just getting louder and louder? Because, like, I'm excited about the idea of a downtown stadium, so I'll use myself as an example. I don't come on the radio every day and scream and shout about how excited I am. I'm just like, oh, this is cool. It is a moment of progress for the city. I'm excited about it. I have thoughts, but I'm excited about it. But I'm not screaming and shouting every day with excitement. Is it possible this pushback we're seeing, this pushback we're feeling, is not actually growing public sentiment of, I don't like this is happening, but in reality it's the minority just being louder because it's easier to yell and scream about anger than it is about excitement. I'm open to that as a possibility too. And I'm excited to have someone on the show tomorrow who opposes the stadium and their belief, but I'm also open to the notion that the idea that public sentiment might be turning a little bit on the stadium is just because the people who are in the 20% and not in the 80% are screaming and shouting more than the other side.
I think there is actually a group of people that feel this way. I just think there is a even stronger group of people that are actually willing to go out and do something about it. It's one thing to comment on this on Facebook, on your social media feed, or on the KCTV5 story about this. There's another thing for at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for you to go down to City Hall and show them directly to their face that you are opposed to this idea. That's why I said to this entire process when we had KC Tenants on here, you can say whatever you feel about KC Tenants. They are actually out there doing the work and doing this stuff on person. They are not on the text line doing this. They're not on Facebook doing this. They will show up at the event, at the function, and directly tell this is unfair. I got a lot of respect for people that do that. So I'm excited to hear how it went today. I mean, they had multiple community groups down there. And again, their argument is not a bad argument to me. You are using our money without our permission, and you are using it in a way that we do not approve of. You're allowed to communicate that.
I also, to my point about maybe the vocal minority, a lot of people said a lot of those same things about the new airport, though. Hey, you're using our money to do something we didn't vote for and we don't want. And now maybe there are people out there who hate the new airport. I don't know. I've never met them. They don't exist in my world. I think it's a lot of the same anger and venom just because change. So I don't know. You're right. It's possible they are the majority and I'm wrong. But I think a lot of the same things people are yelling and shouting about right now is a lot of the things they yelled and shouted about when it was streetcar extension time, when it was, I don't want to build a one light. I don't want to build a power and light. I don't want to build an airport. Like, sometimes it's okay to yell and shout, but then admit you're wrong on the back end. It's possible that's what's happening here, too, with the stadium.
Someone says, I hate to break it to you, but if you were in favor of taxpayer welfare for billionaires, it is you who is in the minority. I don't necessarily know if that's the case, honestly, anymore, to be completely honest. I'm not honestly sure. I think it's pretty split, to be completely fair. I think it's pretty split. I think it's very, very split. I think there are a lot of people that feel the way I feel. This is just the cost of doing business if you live in America. I think there's a lot of people on the other side. If that's not how America should be. I think that's what makes us so great, that we have such differing opinions on things. But I'm not really sure if you were in the minority if you feel that our tax dollars should go to this. Just like I don't know if you were in the minority if you feel the opposite either. I think it's pretty split now.
I also think you could feel both. You could feel a situation where I don't think this is the way it should work, but I have to accept that's a reality. You mentioned at the top of the segment, it's the sentence we say a lot in the back. We can deal with the world as it is or complain about the way it should be. I think some people fall into the middle there. I will complain about the way it should be, but understand this is the way it happens. Like, I think you might be a person that doesn't like this happen societally, but you've accepted the game's the game a little bit.
I just think that this is the cost of doing business in American cities. I really do. If you want Kansas City to continue to grow and you want Kansas City to continue to be looked at as a major city, part of that is keeping and maintaining sports franchises. And there are not a large group of sports franchises that are 100% privately funded. Like, you pay for these things. Again, so I just have resigned to ourselves of this is just the cost of doing business if this is what you want in your city. If you don't want that in your city, then I would just move to a city that doesn't have professional sports teams. I would say there's not a lot of cool cities that don't have professional sports teams. There's not a whole lot of them. There's a couple of them. There is not a large number of cities that you and I would deem to be cool cities that do not have professional sports teams. So this is just the cost of it. They ask you for money, you got to give it to them, or they move. That is usually how this goes. Speaking of complaining about things that we cannot change, this is not usually the show that complains about lineup construction. I would say in 95% of instances, I really don't care. I don't find it very interesting to talk about. It doesn't move me, you know? And I know sometimes you guys get excited about this, but it's hard for me to do the show and talk about things that just don't really move me in any way. So coming on here every day and complaining about who the sixth hitter is for the Kansas City Royals, it's just, I'm sure there's other shows that do it. I'm not knocking how they get down. That just does not work for me. But today, I just happened to be on social media when the Royals tweeted out their lineup. And I'm like, I might as well take a look at it. Yeah, I might as well look. And I see that Lane Thomas is hitting third for the Kansas City Royals. Now, I understand that this is not his first time hitting third, that this is basically the same 1 through 7 on opening day. That's the problem. Lane Thomas, over his last 2.5 years, he is almost 700 plate appearances. He'll be at 700 today. He's at 698. So I imagine he'll get 2 plate appearances today. He has 620 at-bats over this time frame. He is hitting .218 with a .295 on-base percentage, and he's slugging .366. He has 3 times as many strikeouts that he has walks over that time frame. This is who the Royals acquired to help turn their outfield offense around. When Matt Quatraro sat down at his desk and he started writing down the lineup, he couldn't put Carter Jensen in the third spot. They put Lane Thomas in the third spot. Now, again, I don't want to just come on here every day and complain about the offense and complain about the lineup, but maybe I am struggling with, these are the people that I'm supposed to believe in that are going to turn this problem around. The Royals have an offensive problem. It is not just a 13-game offensive problem. Their offense has kind of been like this for a year and a half. And this offseason, we all were hoping and wanting them to make some radical changes to the offense, and they brought in Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins to help turn their offense around. I'm stunned that is not having the results that they thought it was going to have. He's hitting third? Rob, this man is 30 years old. He has been in Major League Baseball since he's 23 years old. He'll be 31 years old coming up this summer. There is no team that has thought that this is the kind of offensive player that he is. Why is he hitting third for the Kansas City Royals? This is why people are skeptical. This is why people don't give the Royals the benefit of the doubt. This is why. We always talk about benefit of the doubt and why the Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt and why the Royals don't get the benefit of the doubt and why we are harder on the Royals than we are with any other team. Because this is silly. Letting Lane Thomas hit third is silly, in my opinion. And this is not the solution you would think to turn around an offense that has once again struggled and underperformed.
I am largely in step with you. But just to lay out the devil's advocate side, I looked at these numbers. Here is Lane Thomas' career against left-hand pitching. Not just this year, not just at the 3. Here's his career against lefties, which
I'm sure it's good.
Framber Valdez is the starter for the Tigers. He's left-handed.
Yep.
290 with an OPS, a 290 average with an OPS of 852. He slugs 494 and he gets on base to the 358 clip. He has 41 doubles and 25 homers against lefties. That's the answer to your question. They are taking the sample size of Lane Thomas' career against lefties And they are saying we think he's more that player than the light-hitting nothing we've seen this year from Lane Thomas. They are taking the major league, totality over the 16-game sample. We'll see if they're right. I don't think he's looked good in the 16 games he's played for the Royals, or however many he's played of the 16 games. I don't know it's the right thought process. Me and you agree. But at least I want to point out the method behind their madness is he does tear up lefties in his baseball career, and his baseball reference page tells you putting him in the lineup against a lefty isn't just the musings of a moron.
Do you want to know what Lane Thomas did last year against left-handed pitching? Just last season.
To be fair, he got hurt last year. He battled injuries. So if you want to do last year, that's fine. I could probably pull 2024, and it'd probably be better.
In 2024, he was not bad. He hit 300 against left-handed pitching. He hit 300. Last year, now you're right, he did get hurt last year. Last year against left-handed pitching, he hit 150. Just last season, he hit 150 against left-handed starting pitching. To me, this is just more of a philosophy of mine. I mean, so far this season, he's hitting 154 against left-handed pitching. So over the last 35 games for Lane Thomas, he has not been that guy that just absolutely just mashes left-handed pitching. Right now, you know what I would like for the Royals to do, and I don't think they're going to do this. I think they have basically communicated through their actions they're not going to do this. I would like for them to just find a lineup right now. I'm not saying even just you pick who you think are the top 9 offensive guys, and I would ride that wave for this road trip and see what happens. I'd ride this wave and just see what happens. None of this platoon, this guy's going to play, and then he won't hit for another 3 days. I don't think the Royals have enough good offensive bats to be trying this, at least right now in the interim. You got to ride with the guys that you believe in, and you got to be willing to ride through the ups and downs of what you have. That would be my suggestion to the Royals, but that is just not the kind of team that they want to build right now. They want a platoon. They want to try these things.
I'd also ask you, and Vern asked this earlier, Vern will be on in about 10 minutes of his on-deck show. If you were to be like, all right, give me the best 9 we're going to roll out every day, who are those best 9 right now for the Royals? That's the larger problem. Who are the 9 hitters you'd put on the lineup card? You're like, I feel like I know what we got. Lane Thomas might be one of those guys because it ain't like the lineup's chock full of, boppers. It's finding 9 every day is not easy. This is the kind of the problem the Royals are in. And the real problem the Royals are in, and we can talk about in the last couple minutes of the show here, is their offense will continue to struggle as long as Salvador Perez and Vinny Pasquantino struggle. Me and you can be mad about Lane Thomas all day, and I'm not saying we shouldn't. But the fact that Salvador Perez and Lane Thomas have the Spider-Man meme of stats is a bigger problem for the team and organization.
Yeah, and this is why on this, someone sent this in. CDOT is just one game. Did you completely ignore everything Vern told you? I understand where you're coming from, but it's the best situation for the pitcher they are facing tonight. If you were telling me that this offseason, all of us identified that the Royals had a problem with their offense, every single person listening knew they had a problem with their offense, and their solution to that problem was picking up Lane Thomas to hit 3rd in their lineup against lefties, that's my issue. My issue is not one game. My issue is the Royals were disappointing last year offensively and did very little to fix their offense and appear to be in the exact same situation that they are in now. They appear to be no different. What's different about their offense on April 14th? Do you feel any different on April 14th about their offense than you felt on September 14th? Do you feel any different about their offense on April 14th than you felt on August 14th about their offense? They had all of this time, all of this information, and their suggestion was Lane Thomas against left-handed hitters to hit 3rd for them? And then we sit here and wonder why Bobby Witt Jr. has been on base 30 times so far this season and been stranded 29 times because Lane Thomas is hitting behind him. That's why they can't drive him in. So it's not just the one game. It's the organizational philosophy. Their fixes on offense were Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins. And then we're like, the Royals can't score. What's going on? They're the problem. We're off early today. We're off early tomorrow because of the Royals. Just knowing me and just knowing the luck, Lane Thomas is going to hit 3 for 4 today with 2 home runs and just make me look goofy because that's just how this show works sometimes. I hope I end up being wrong about this. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. It's The Drive.